Pens for Men Undergarment Studios in Orange County, California. It's the Indispensable Thursday Show with Sable and Dave. Mediocrity never goes out of style.
So the famous rabbi passes away after a long life in the rabbinate, and he's standing at the gates of heaven. But there's a long line, like any place that has a good sale, there's a lot of people waiting to get in, and the rabbi is very far in the back. And he considers himself, having had a successful career at many synagogues over his lifetime, that, he has a good chance of getting in. And he's waiting, and he's sort of schwitzing a little bit. And all of a sudden there's a ruckus, and a bunch of angels are bringing this bus driver by. The bus driver just died, and they rush him to the front of the line. Make way for the bus driver! Make way for the bus driver! The bus driver gets up to the front of the line. They check his name off of the checkboard, and he's in the gates. Now the rabbi's confused because the bus driver was just let in right away. Well, he must have sacrificed himself for people. He must have done something special to get to the front of the line. So the rabbi's waiting and waiting and waiting. He finally gets to the front of the line. And he says, I'm just curious. The bus driver that you brought in, he was rushed up to the front. What was so special? And the angel said, well, Rabbi, when you gave your sermons, people slept. But when that bus driver drove, people prayed. The rabbi gave that joke. She gave a much different version of that joke, but essentially the same punchline at the high holiday services.
Point taken.
Because we are in the high holidays here,
Hi, holidays.
Hi. So that's where we, as Jews, take our dutiful days off of work and go hang out at the beach after we do our penance, sitting in the synagogue for several hours, listening to long prayers.
That is the penance, is actually showing up to synagogue and listening to that.
You have to put on your suit and sit there and sit there for 3 hours.
I don't think I've done anything bad enough to warrant that.
But then you get to spend the rest of the day at the beach, so that's
I
great.
beat the crap out of that homeless chick. But,
and it was
I was drunk.
It was a beautiful day at the beach, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been out to Huntington or Seal Beach lately?
Not lately, no.
Not late. No, you weren't even there a couple weeks ago.
No.
So a couple weeks ago, I totally stepped all over our plan here. A couple weeks ago, where I finally got my wife out into the water, she put on her skin suit. See, she's used to Florida water where it's really, really warm. Mm-hmm. And the water's gotten a little bit warmer. She finally gets out to play in the water. All these years, she doesn't want to go in our ocean. She'll go in heated pools and things. But I finally get her out there, and a seal pops up a few feet behind her. I think I mentioned this.
He pulled out his knife and he slit her throat because he thought she was Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, it was
Navy
Steve, the Navy SEAL. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, an actual seal pops up.
Oh, the aquatic animal. Okay.
Swimming. I was like, what? So I know there's been.
They look like dogs when they pop their head up.
Yeah,
this looks like dogs swimming. It's amazing.
He popped up, looked around, he kept going. Popped next to the next people. And when I talked to the lifeguard about it, he said, "Oh, it must be because all the shark activity must be driving the seals in." Well,
zoinks!
I didn't know that there are stingrays outside of Huntington Beach, and stingrays have been coming in along with a hammerhead shark.
1972, I think. Corvette. Is that when they started the stingray? Awesome.
You could buy one redone for about 10
maybe
grand.
71, or the 70s were all stingray. I don't remember. I have to look that up.
They might have been. Those are good cars.
Don't step on one; it'll sting your foot.
So. I never knew this. I've never heard this in my whole life. You have to do the shuffle when you're out there in Huntington Beach.
Right.
Or you get stung. Apparently, people are getting stung every day. The lifeguards are having to bring them in.
Oh, boy. Really? Like from swimming? Oh, that's scary.
That's not something you want to have to worry about. That'll scar you for life. You're out there enjoying the ocean, the waves, and then what?
These are illegal stingrays from Mexico. Probably we should get Trump to build like a water fence that extends out far enough to keep them.
Maybe sonar.
Over. But I mean, we'll send them all back. But if they're terrific, they can come back in. The ones that are terrific, or. But if you're not terrific, then you stay.
Just the college-educated kind.
Yeah, if you can contribute to the economy.
Well, there was a small, like a 2-person Piper propeller airplane flying about 25 feet over the ocean while we were out there, which that's really low. I mean, you could have thrown your shoe at this airplane and hit it.
Why didn't
I've never seen an airplane that low before.
And that's an insult in Arab lands. Who's the comedian?
That's how you
who said
divorce
that?
your wife.
Is that who said that? Like,
in
I didn't need to be
Islam.
told that throwing a shoe at someone's face is an insult and whatever. And like, kind of an insult, kind of anywhere you are. Someone throwing a shoe at your face is kind of like a universal, I would think.
But if you're
insult.
Muslim and you throw your shoe at your wife, it's a divorce.
Wow, that's pretty streamlined.
Yeah,
That's good.
it's easy. It takes care of Sharia law manages all that court stuff.
Yeah.
As long as you're a dude, you do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so while we've been bodyboarding and swimming and sort of enjoying ocean life,
yeah,
the ocean life has been moving in a little bit.
yeah.
So now I don't know if I'm nervous. I was still out there, but boy, stingrays and seals and sharks.
We should send some drones out there to scare them away.
Well, I think they were afraid of the airplane. I would imagine that drones would scare the wildlife.
They do scare wildlife. Matter of fact, there was a news story I was going to talk about that. Where they'd
Why don't
actually
you
done
talk about it?
Yeah, they had done it's late. This is a very special episode of the what's the show called? The Indispensable Thursday Show.
The Indispensable Thursday Show with Sable and Dave.
Very special episode of whatever this crap is.
But this is the same time for our listeners.
Yes,
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Thursday morning.
It's a little late for us, but what the hell was I talking about? Yeah, there was an actual news story about some scientists who were studying bears, and they had because they had them monitored, and they discovered that when the drones flew next to the bears went absolutely effing nuts. Like they hated it. They had some of the bears had like a 400% increase in their heart rate.
Wow!
And they just like, get me out. They ran. They hightailed it out of there, and so
curious.
It kind of got me thinking.
Whoa, what? Oh, whoa. What is that, Boo Boo? Wake up.
Is that you, Yogi? Oh, dear Lord. What is that?
I don't know, Boo Boo buddy, but it sounds pretty angry.
Maybe it's the queen bee. That was a really big hive we opened up, Yogi. Ranger Smith always said we should be careful.
Ah!
Yogi, hold me.
Come here, Boo Boo.
We're gonna die, Yogi.
I can't believe this is how it ends. Boo Boo, I love you, buddy.
I love you too, Yogi.
Boo Boo, I've never been with a woman.
You put a beer in the oven?
I said I've never been with a woman. I've never had sex, Boo Boo. Not even with Cindy.
You did. What about that Canadian panda you always talked about?
It never happened, Boo Boo. I made it all up.
Well, okay. I'm sorry, Yogi.
What about you, Boo Boo?
I never had sex either, Yogi. I couldn't after that bear trap accident.
I know. Well, there are other ways to make love, Boo Boo buddy.
But Ranger Smith said...
Ranger Smith is dead, Boo Boo. Dead and buried.
I know, Yogi, but he was a wise man.
I have a confession to make. He didn't die of natural causes, Boo Boo.
What do you mean, Yogi? He had a heart attack.
I suffocated him, Boo Boo. Then I raped his dead body.
Why would you do that, Yogi?
I couldn't take it anymore. You think he could have let us have one goddamn picnic basket in 57 years? No, not one. He was a son of a bitch, and I made him pay.
But the coroner didn't say anything about rape.
They don't test for bear semen, Boo Boo.
Well, then you have had sex.
He was already dead, still warm, but dead as Don Drysdale. Doesn't count.
Yogi, I don't want to hear anymore.
I just thought you should know that before we die. Anyway, back to the sex, Boo Boo.
What? No, I don't want to talk about sex.
Boo Boo, there's no time for talk.
Is that your pa, Yogi?
If it was, would that be a bad thing, Boo Boo?
Yogi, did you say you loved me?
I really like you a lot, Boo Boo.
Wait a minute. You said you loved me. You said, I love you, man.
That's an expression, Boo Boo. Look, yeah, I love you. You love me, don't you?
Of course.
Time's running out, Boo Boo.
All right. Take me, Yogi.
Oh, Boo Boo.
What is that, Yogi?
Oh, it's honey, Boo Boo. Oh, Boo Boo.
Oh.
Oh, Boo Boo.
Oh.
Oh, Boo Boo! Oh, Boo Boo!
Oh. Yogi, don't leave me hanging. How about a reach around? Oh my.
Okay. Well, Boo Boo and Yogi.
The live reading there was getting kind of hairy. We're going to have to sweeten up some of those drone sounds for him. But
Like you
there
have
you go.
never heard it before.
Oh my.
We're gonna have to put the explicit label on that one.
Yeah, probably. Might as well just do the explicit show the rest of the
But
show.
all right. Well, now that we've set it free,
Little theater of the mind.
now if Yogi and Boo Boo were getting it on today, they would use the new private messaging app called Cyberdust. Are you on Cyberdust yet?
No, I'm not.
See, you
Proud to
missed
say,
it.
I missed it.
I've already downloaded Cyberdust and deleted it from my phone.
You did?
I'm already over it.
You're already over
The
it.
most personal communication platform ever.
Wow. Very personal, yeah. Okay. I'm opening up my Slack notes here to see what I got for the show here because I had to close down for the Yogi. Oh, that's not Slack. I'm opening up Stitcher. I hope I don't hear Dollamore's voice booming over the.
Da-dum.
Where the hell's Slack? There it is.
I actually didn't send you these notes, but I wanted to share a couple of things with you because, well, the skit sort of the skits messed us up. But I wanted to let you know that the truth about Ashley Madison has finally come out.
Okay.
Now, this is the absolute truth.
Yeah.
The whole thing with Ashley Madison, it's just a huge direct marketing play.
Really?
And I read this on a newdomain.net where they break down all the properties that Ashley Madison actually own. And there's so many of them. Ashley Babes, Ashley RN, Addison.com. There's dozens of them. The Big and the Beautiful. They're all business partners. Man Crunch, Arrangement Finders, Eros Dating, DateBrokeCollegeGirls.com. See, that one got you, huh? You looked up. Oasis.com, Plenty of Fish, and the international market. Michi, right? What does native advertising have to do with all this? Well, glad you asked. Cleverly using promotion to get your name out is, according to Jezebel, one of the things Avid does most brilliantly. No one, however, is alleging that Ashley Madison is somehow behind its own hack as a promotional stunt. Nobody would do that. So
I don't know, Yogi.
Look, if you go to a newdomain.net and you look up this is a very, very long piece with research, with quotes.
So they pretty much just sold this thing. It doesn't matter if anybody has sex. You're going to make tons of money, and no one's going to complain if they don't get laid because they're cheating on their wives and or husband, but wife, really.
Right. And they're using dozens of websites like Ashley Madison in order to make cash.
Pretty clever.
See, they have your email, and that's it.
They have my email?
As soon as you sign up for any one of those sites, they have your email. And apparently, the hackers had no idea that all this was going on.
Wow, they exposed it by accident.
Yeah, you look up Gina Smith, and she'll show all of the. I think I have a complete list here. ALM Labs, Cougar Life Inc., Established Men, Personal Lifestyle, Avid DIY Life, ADL Europe, Hot or Not Inc., Hot or Not Media, ADL Media.
All these are subsidiaries of
CL Media,
Ashley Madison, or spin-offs?
EM Media.
They're actually part of Ashley
They're
Madison.
all part of Avid Life
Wow.
Media.
Those guys that started this need to be beaten, like really, like beaten. Like I want to see broken limbs and stuff.
How about this
Just
one?
for ripping everybody off.
Fructose Opus Limited.
Yeah,
I don't even know what that means.
that one's kind of.
You think that's Yogi's Honey?
Oh.
Pracelins Limited, Pernimus Limited. I mean, this.
Wow, how many are there? Thousands?
No, dozens.
Just dozens. Okay.
Dozens.
Well, if it was
Of
true
legal
MLM, there
entities
would have
and
been thousands
websites.
of them, no? But
Yeah,
that's good enough.
right?
I would have liked to maybe get in on some of that money. But
So-
whatever.
So we were talking about drones with Yogi and Boo Boo
Yeah.
and that reading. And there's Actually, we haven't had good laws.
By the way, that was completely. We didn't rehearse that at all. We just
that was a cold reading.
We just cold read it.
You can
I didn't even
hire us for your comedy show.
I didn't even finish the end. We just wanted to do it. I was like, let's just do it. The end was like a little bit. I paused there. I'm like, oh, where's the part where I say, oh, we're not going to die. The drone flew away, and something. But then Yogi finishes. But I forgot that part. I was going to go back in and do it, but I'm so busy, I just couldn't. Sable. Well, and we just did, but we just decided to read it anyway.
That's the life of of creative professionals.
Yeah.
So in California, they were trying to pass a law that says you can't fly a personal drone within 350 feet of your residence. So you could shoot it down if it gets closer. And Governor Moonbeam, he denied it. He shot down the bill that would let you shoot down drones.
So what does this mean?
So
why is he
the ban?
Against? Well, obviously it involves a gun, right? And he doesn't like guns, right?
Well, the ban would have only affected commercial and private UAVs. That meant that burdensome regulation and new causes of action would have dive bombed occasional hobbyists and commercial operators approved by the FAA. Governor Brown's veto message said, drone technology certainly raises novel issues that merit careful examination. This bill, however, while well-intentioned, could expose the occasional hobbyist and the FAA-approved commercial user alike to burdensome litigation and burdensome. Arrivederci drones. And new causes of action.
I don't know what to think of that, but I hate Jerry Brown so much that I'm thinking it's probably wrong to have done what he did, but I don't know for sure. He might have actually got this one right. Who knows?
Well, Bruce Schneier, who is a well-known security researcher, wrote some books, works over at the Register. You can find his blog at Schneier.com, SCHNEIER.com. On his blog, he aggregates various expert opinions on drone law. And on his post, Drone Self-Defense and the Law, he actually brings up some long written PDFs. He talks about the drug delivery to prison yards. Like we talked about that one. Yeah. He talks about how Lockheed Martin and Boeing are designing anti-drone defenses so you can have different electronic and physical ways to shoot a drone down. And ways to overpower them electronically. Like, hey, there's a drone. I'm going to take that one over.
I would allow Thai strippers to shoot ping pong balls out of their vagina to take them down.
Ooh.
And bring in like a whole, kind of like you see in Henry V when all the archers, they all get ready, the long bow, and they all draw them back, and then they release, kind of the same thing, but of Thai prostitutes. No, I mean, strippers, not prostitutes.
Could we bring in
prostitutes maybe could do
like
it too.
10,000 Thai refugees?
Yes, they're all crab walking in.
Okay.
Oh, man. I like that.
So Schneier's been on CNN about this, and right now, if you're in California and you're listening to this, and there's a drone peeking in your bedroom window at your wife while she's changing, and you shoot the drone down, you're gonna go to jail.
But you won't go to jail if you're a graphic artist and you design me a picture of the army of Thai strippers shooting ping pong balls out of their vagina.
So I suggest you get your garden hose and you put a good long jet spray, and as soon as you see the drone, you spray it, because you can't go to jail for spraying a hose. Even if it
looked parched. I was just giving it a bit of a drinky.
So you spray the drone, and hopefully you get the propellers. You knock it down so that it crashes, and then you get to keep the camera. You could get a nice $400 GoPro camera out of that.
Ooh. Such good ideas on this show,
right? Oh man, that's it's one of the things I love about this show.
Here's a bad idea.
Okay,
I was walking just around my neighborhood. I have a nice little quiet neighborhood. I was doing a walk around there. And I'm coming up on particular quiet streets. A couple weeks ago, someone set up a movie on their front lawn. I'm like, oh, maybe the neighbors have come over and they're sitting and they've got this big screen up and they're projecting a movie. So I'm like, oh, what's I'm thinking? But someone watches The Sound of Music every year, or they run Lawrence of Arabia or something. Some film fans got up there. So I'm like, I get up close and it's Rush Hour 2. And I'm like, Rush Hour? Really? You're bothering to call the neighbors over and like drag out your projector and your extension cords and your couch they had out there?
Did they hook up
to have the neighbors come over to watch this horribly mediocre pile of crap, Brett Ratner junkie movie with. And by the way, it's a comedy. You could hear a pin drop right there. They're watching. It's wacky stuff going on. Everyone's just sitting there like. Can you hear the crickets right now? We have crickets in here. Can you hear that?
The crickets
It's
are out.
live crickets. It was like that. I'm like, why are you're not even enjoying the damn thing? Let me go get my DVD of like some Sergio Leone movie for you guys to watch. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly or something. Good
So I
Lord,
have
Rush Hour 2.
I have some advice for your neighbor.
Yeah.
Your neighbor needs to go on DuckDuckGo. That's a search engine. ddg.gg.
Mm-hmm.
Go look for Popcorn Time.
Oh.
Your neighbor can open up Popcorn Time, and in various countries, this is completely legal.
Oh, it is. Okay, good.
Not so sure about ours, but you can
I'm
find
pretty sure it's
Popcorn Time.
But this is an ad paid for by Belgium, so we're gonna give them a plug.
Pick any movie that is legally streaming in Popcorn Time. They're mostly current,
Mm-hmm.
and then go ahead and watch that with your neighbors.
Yeah.
They'll like you a lot more than watching Rush Hour 2.
I almost would respect them if they're watching Rush Hour 1. At least it's the first teaming of Jackie Chan with Chris Tucker, but no, it was like the sequel.
I liked Rush Hour. Rush Hour was good.
Okay. Well, anyway, I don't know what to say about that. I think I've said all that can be said about that. Rush Hour 2. Oh,
All right, Dave, I have to ask you.
Toilet paper their house.
I
Yeah.
have to ask you a serious question.
Yeah.
What do you think about Nesquik?
Nesquik. I think it's chocolatey, powdery.
Powdery.
Probably jam packed with sugar.
Oh,
And
of
it's got
course.
is that the one with the rabbit on it?
I mean, that's sort of a
The
loaded
rabbit logo?
question. Yeah,
Those
there's
those
a rabbit.
Those are the things that come to mind with Nesquik.
Okay, so for the listeners, a little background. Dave's been totally swamped at work,
Yeah.
and he's recording pretty late tonight.
Mhm.
Now, right before the time where Dave and I would have been getting the show ready and recording, my wife was checking her email, and she got a message from the AYSO. This is right. Hey, AYSO people, here's this fantastic email for you. Why don't you give your kids a great post-game snack
Mm-hmm.
of Nesquik low-fat chocolate milk?
Uh-huh.
And they show you a picture of these chocolate milk containers. And there's a thing on the side that says, "Did you know science suggests that Nesquik low-fat chocolate milk contains the ideal 3-to-1 ratio of carbohydrates to protein to help restore exhausted muscles, making it a great choice for post-game snack." Now, Dave,
Right.
are you a certified nutrition specialist?
Yes, I actually am. No, I'm not.
What?
You looked at me like whoa!
I was-
whole facet of the show has opened up. I could have been asking you so many more questions about food, and no, I
I was
really
actually
don't have that.
expecting you to say no.
Yes,
I was hoping that you would give me your response to that using your common sense, your
my common sense
personal understanding of
suggests
nutrition.
that at no time really ever should your kids ever drink Nesquik.
Okay.
Really, that's probably, but
So
certainly
Nes-
certainly not repairing your body after a good workout with Nesquik. It's like you might as well put Cocoa Puffs in a blender and then pour some milk in there. It's the same crap.
So you would consider that chocolate milk is probably a good occasional treat if you're going to have it?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. So my wife sees this, and now we've grown up in the era where we see nothing but advertising for sugary foods.
Yeah.
My generation, everyone that I grew up with, like we all grew up being completely addicted to sugar.
Absolutely. I used to pour it.
Soda,
I used to have
Dolly Madison's.
gray sludge at the bottom of my bowl with sugar,
Uh-huh.
not like sucralose. I mean, this is sugar
Right.
in my Wheaties. It would be a gray sludge at the bottom. I really would not have eaten that much if someone told me, dude, that's really going to hurt you even more than smoking does, probably. Especially, it will actually, because you're going to eat it all your life. It will hurt you
Yep.
more than smoking, because smoking, you start when you're what? 16 and you go for it. Actually is just as bad as smoking if you eat that kind of sugar. I mean, really.
Well, and there's Yogi and Boo Boo. They were brought to you by Kellogg's. They would open up the Yogi Bear show with a Kellogg's commercial.
All right. Yeah.
And then
Back
in
in
the
the
middle
day.
of the Kellogg's commercials, they would have Rice Krispies and Cocoa Puffs, and it was all about sugary cereals. But since then, it's we have been inundated with this advertising. Now, if you see an advertisement, a commercial with a doctor smoking who says the best cigarette, in my opinion, is a Camel.
They used to have those. It's awesome. I love those
Right?
commercials.
Do you think that you're more likely to think smoking Camels is okay?
Yeah, I would think it's not as harmful.
All
If I see a
right.
doctor, if I see a man in a lab coat pointing and telling me, looking at the hockey stick, that the temperature is rising and that I need to ditch my car so that Leonardo DiCaprio can fly more trips around the world in his jet so that we
Right.
don't warm the globe, I would believe that.
Right? So here's the AYSO, a volunteer youth organization, sending out a special email to all the parents, right? And we're
Mhm.
talking about millions of people.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was one of them.
millions of
We are not
people
this year, but I
in the
know the
U.S.
drill.
participate in the American Youth Soccer. What is it?
Mhm.
American Youth Soccer Organization,
Yeah.
founded in 1960.
1640. No, it was the
19
Dutch brought it
I
over.
think it was
from-
1964. Actually,
Oh,
should look this up.
I got my numbers transposed.
So it's not like we see advertisement, we know it's bad. We look at the chocolate milk and we go, no, that's too much sugar. We can't have it.
Your kids didn't see this email though, did they? They're not checking.
But my wife
email.
sees this and
Uh-oh.
she loses her mind. Now we've been
I wish
watching,
I was there to see her open that email because I can imagine her
man, she
checking it
was
out.
screaming and shouting like, what are we gonna do? So now mind you, it's 11:28 p.m.
Oh God.
Wednesday night. This was at 9 p.m. tonight. She's yelling and screaming. So we talk about it for a little bit, and she writes a long letter. It starts
A manifesto.
it starts
or
out
is
like
it just
this.
a long letter?
Shame on you, AYSO.
Nice.
I was disappointed, right? And then here's some of her response. There are 38 grams of sugar in one of those 14-ounce chocolate
Oh my
milks.
God.
For those of you who don't know, that's 9.5 teaspoons.
Well, that includes the lactose for the milk, though, right? I mean, the milk makes up part of it. That's not the most harmful sugar. It still is a sugar, though, lactose. But maybe that counts for half of it or a third of it.
I doubt it. I doubt it's half.
Probably getting up to half because there's a lot of carbs in milk,
Well, how?
but they're not as bad
So
because the
Dave,
lactose is a little bit more natural.
what's the
but that's a lot of freaking. I would not give my daughters that.
What's the daily recommendation of sugar?
I don't
Healthy
know.
dose.
It's probably overestimated to what you actually should have. They're probably if the government's probably telling you can have about 4 times more than you really should. So I don't know what it is, but
So for children, it's about 5 or 6 grams, and for adults,
of
for
just
us,
sugar.
if you're gonna have like sugar added throughout the day,
Mhm.
sugar in your coffee, sugar in your ice cream, a donut
No
occasionally,
sugar tonight in
nine.
my coffee. No sugar tonight in my tea.
That's 9 grams for you or I. Okay,
Okay, that
this
doesn't
has
sound outrageous. That's
30
actually pretty good.
this one drink has 38 grams.
Mhm.
They want to give the kids.
Yeah, but the rest of America didn't just play a really hard soccer game, though.
well,
Sable.
and now she didn't get into any science, so she just went on the rant about. Right, she said, put a Ziploc bag, and put in 9.5 teaspoons of sugar, and then think about, would you rather just give this to them? Sugar is killing our kids. We have the highest rates of in history of obesity and life-threatening illnesses.
Absolutely true, and it is due to sugar, extra sugar.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, but this is what got her upset. I think Nesquik is not a great post-game snack.
And it tastes like ass too. Open ass.
Well, if you're in the sugar taste, Nesquik might be wonderful, but a great post-game snack is a banana and a bottle of water, or a handful of nuts, a small whole grain bagel with cream cheese, almost anything dipped in hummus, apple slices, carrot sticks,
I don't recommend hummus on apple though.
or hummus and apple is awesome.
Is
dude.
it? Well, maybe I'll
I mean,
try it.
I like apple and honey and apple and peanut butter more, but still.
I'll try it though. It sounds
Carrots
okay.
and hummus, raisins, melons, trail mix, cheese sticks, pretzels, goldfish, even pirate's booty. All of those things are better.
Absolutely. I remember the first time we had to bring snacks to the soccer game for my older daughter, and we brought a banana and some carrot sticks and stuff like this, and bottled water, and
Nice.
the kids went, but we didn't know that you were supposed to bring the juice box and Cheetos and a candy bar, which is what everybody else brought every other time. We're like, what the hell is this for a snack? Everybody just did that automatically.
That's such
and
bullshit.
they probably thought we were like the health nut weirdo
Mm-hmm.
hippies bringing this stuff.
Well, you care about your children, and they apparently don't.
They're murdering their children, just like
Right.
Republicans. So screw them.
Republicans are murdering your children.
Well, that's what I hear from the Democrats.
So-
especially if you're black, they just want to have you killed.
So the story doesn't stop there. So she writes her letter. She goes to the AYSO page on Facebook, and she says, you know what? I love you, AYSO, but we have to do better for our children. And then she posts this. And of course, I
I
go
just
in.
tell AYSO I love them, even though I haven't been attracted to them for a long time. So we're just going through the motions. But
Well,
it's good of her to say that.
I mean, I went in, and of course, I made my comment, just to sort of add a little bit that getting chocolate milk after a workout does not actually help restore glycogen. It just produces an insulin response. It actually stops you from burning fat.
Yeah.
It's actually
Yeesh.
bad for you.
Yes.
It's actually bad for you.
Like I said, there was a girl. They came from the gym when I was riding at the restaurant. They came in all sweaty. The one girl, a little plump. I'm thinking, oh, good, she's hitting the gym. Okay, yeah, me too. She orders a big plate of waffles. Like, what are you doing? All right, okay.
But even
don't complain though when you look in the mirror tomorrow and you didn't lose any weight.
But even the waffle isn't as bad unless you're going to put a bunch of syrup on it.
Oh, she had syrup.
But it doesn't stop there. So we get to we post this, of course, on the AYSO page.
Oh, good, awesome.
Right. So
I love it.
And I haven't even checked it since then. But then we both want to repost it, and I decide, because I'm an asshole,
I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna find it on Facebook.
I decide to go to the Nesquik page.
Oh.
3,150 something thousand people on the Nesquik page.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, hey, Nesquik, we're talking about you over on the AYSO page. Check it out.
It's great.
So we're probably going to get kicked out of AYSO and
No-
never
no
allowed
pun
back.
intended. Or was it? Was it?
It was pun intended.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I stepped on your pun. Your intended
Yeah.
pun.
Yeah.
No punt
So-
intended.
The Nesquik page,
That's
3
gonna be a big
million.
spike on the.
So make a time note. 3,157,527 people like the Facebook page. Sheep.
Yeah.
And mine is the top comment. We're talking about you on the AYSO
Make sure
page.
you plug the podcast while you're to make sure the
that's a great
podcast is on
idea.
there. Yeah.
Well, we
We
got
don't
a
want-
good plug from Daenerys Targaryen
We did?
herself.
Really, the actress or just the
Daenerys
Twitter
Targaryen
person?
on Facebook
Oh,
liked our song.
she liked us. Oh,
She liked it.
great.
Yep.
All right. Whatever your actress name is, I forgot your name, but I love her. She's great.
Emily.
She is my favorite character in the entire
Oh,
series. And
we-
if they kill her, I will not watch anymore if they kill her off.
I found out
Hear that, Game of Thrones producers?
in a recent interview. She told us why she hasn't been nude lately.
Is she pregnant?
No, she refuses to be nude again.
Oh, okay.
She was the first 2 seasons. She doesn't want to be known for her breasts.
Tease.
So you have to stop watching Game of Thrones on the next season and just go back and rewatch the
Yeah.
first 2.
Yeah. Well, I don't care. She's still my favorite character.
Okay.
I like her.
So on the AYSO page, we're gonna get some shares and likes. And you know what? People have to know. We gotta educate people. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that they did that either. That's pretty lame. It's hard enough to keep your kids away from the stupid sugar stuff.
Right? Well,
And-
so the other thing that drives us crazy is AYSO is an all-volunteer organization.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids get penalized if you don't get enough parents to referee and to show up at different. Now, you can't referee. You can't go to your kids' game. You actually have to go to other kids' games at different times and be part of their coaching and referee and do other things.
Yeah, that's why
in
we
the
bowed out.
organization.
We bowed out of this one. I didn't want to do any of that crap.
And because if you don't do it, you get in trouble. So
Yeah.
my wife, she's a team mom and she's doing other stuff.
She's a soccer mom.
She's a soccer mom because we want the kids to have fun but not be penalized. But here's, maybe Nesquik paid a lot of money to send out this BS ad with a coupon to everyone in the organization. If Nesquik is going to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to AYSO, why do we have to volunteer and pay money? Just hire refs and give us uniforms that have bunnies on them.
Yeah.
Like, just be done with
Like,
it.
yeah.
Where does that money come from?
I have no idea.
I mean,
You tell me.
I mean to say, where does that money go to?
Oh,
That's what I meant to say.
yeah, interesting. 'Cause
It
it's
obviously
all-
comes from selling sugar water.
Yeah.
So, anyways, if you
Well,
wanna
you
learn-
might want to, another good thing is if you're going to, instead of that, you should bring go to Costco and those big drums of cookie dough, the Toll House, just bring one of those over there and just have a scooper and the kids come up with their hands out and you just plop a big cookie dough thing in there and it's the same, seriously, same thing. Tastes better though, I think.
Ooh, cookie dough.
Honestly, the same thing. There's no difference between eating cookie dough and that Nesquik. Dave has spoken.
Dave has spoken. Hey, so on a different note,
Yeah.
do you have a minute still to tell us about your Uber adventures? Dave's Uber adventures.
Yeah, I have been Uber driving. I wish I had some. I don't have enough anecdotes yet stored up. I think I mentioned I need to get air conditioning in the house, so I thought I'm gonna start Uber driving, and all that money's gonna go into my air conditioning fund, and it's going nicely. I had about 8 pickups so far. Didn't I think I talked about one, the first one that I picked up with the girl that I did not rape. I was kidding. I actually didn't rape her.
Oh, that's good. That's better.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
better.
I don't think I wish I had a really good story other than I'm not going to pick up any drunk people at night because they will throw up on your car. But I'm picking up some cool people. So there's really no good anecdotes. I picked up a really cool South African guy who was really hunky. He kind of looked a little like Hugh Jackman. But he had like gray hair, but he was like a young guy with gray hair. Yeah, he was a young guy, but had like grayish hair, like premature gray hair. So I could tell like he's never going to age. He's going to always look handsome until he's like 80. I was like, oh man, my wife would have liked to pick you up. You know, a hunky South African guy who looked like Hugh Jackman. He liked that. But I'm sure he was married to a super hot woman. You know, but he was a nice fellow. His name was Garrick. So. If Garrick from South Africa, who lives here now, I picked you up in my car, and that's about the only anecdote. I had my man crush on Garrick.
We'd like to welcome you to the country, Garrick.
Yeah, he was.
Bring
a good bloke.
us your money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, subscribe, Garrick.
Subscribe on iTunes. Show. That's right. Well, Dave.
Yeah.
I don't want to run the show any longer than as long as we have things to talk about. We're not going to get to anything about the debates tonight. They just happened. There's going to be lots of anecdotes, but maybe next week we'll catch up on.
Let's do a political show next time, and I apparently pissed somebody off. We've got a really good email that we're gonna check. I think it'd take too long for me to respond, but someone called me out on something. And
I have it queued up though. Let's take a few minutes.
Go ahead and read it. Let's see. Maybe if I get inspired to answer, maybe I will.
So first of all, I think it would be all right if we said his name, but I'm gonna leave
maybe the first name.
I'm gonna leave Edgar as sort of anonymous. Edgar's not really his name.
Okay.
And I want to say thank you, Edgar, for letting me know that the contact form was messed up. I fixed it right away.
Is that why we've never gotten a message from anybody?
Well, no, it worked before, but then
okay.
And actually he has sent us messages through the contact form.
Oh, cool.
But it wasn't working after the last update, so I fixed it.
I didn't peruse the entire message because I read it like when I was in Las Vegas. I got, someone hates me, awesome, and they were okay, good.
Well, I read it a couple times. I thought
you can read the whole
maybe
thing.
We provoked him. So here, check it out. He says, "All right, I might as well rant here. When you call the president of the United States a douchebag, or when he's called the worst president in our history, the decent thing to do is just maybe offer a little bit of evidence for such dribble."
It's very dramatic reading here.
Has anybody who's called him the worst president bothered to look at the record of every last motherfucking president we've ever had and the conditions of the country at the time of the presidency and the standard to which the presidents are compared to?
No.
I'm sure not, Dave.
No. I don't know if Franklin Pierce maybe is possibly the worst president, but, I could probably go maybe the worst president in my memory, which is rather long. So
you don't think Nixon was worse? Nixon,
no, actually. What did he do? Did he harm Jews? I don't know.
The anti-Israel guy still kicking around, causing trouble.
He's still kicking around? No, he's dead. Walking around the beach.
Carter's causing trouble still.
No, I don't really care what kind of sentiments he harbored against any particular group of people, unless he actually went out and harmed. Did he do any harm? I don't know, but. Nixon, Watergate is nowhere near as bad as what Obama has done with Iraq and a couple other things. But I'll get to him next year.
So next show. Edgar says, maybe the crapping on Obama is over the abysmal level of employment in the United States. That's the reason for the vitriol against him. Oh, wait.
A little bit.
The latest unemployment ratio is 5.1%, considered right at or near full employment.
Yeah, if you're counting it the new way, which they changed,
they did,
which is if you I think they say if you stopped looking after 4 days, they no longer count you. I'm exaggerating, but there is a time.
It's like the way they changed earthquakes. It used to be on the Richter scale that a 7.0 earthquake would ruin everything. It would knock all the houses down. And so wanted
Las Vegas and the gaming people thought, no, 7's a good number. You got to change this. 7's good for craps.
Right. So they wanted to have bigger numbers that were more dramatic. So instead of having every point
really?
number,
Is that true?
I'm
That's
serious.
probably true. Yeah.
So on the Richter scale, a 7.1 earthquake is 10 times stronger than a 7.0. A
Right.
7.2 is 10 times stronger than a 7.1.
It's hard to wrap your head around, but yeah.
So they it was too hard for people. So now you can have an 8.7 earthquake, and you're like, "What? I didn't feel anything last night." What are you talking about? An 8.7? What does that mean?
Yeah.
So, do you think that employment has anything to do with the numbers are being counted in such a way that unless you go read the Shadow Stats newsletter, you don't actually find out what the real numbers are?
Yeah, people know, the general consensus is people know that it's a crappy job market, even though they're counting him in their new way. If people are getting frustrated and stopping, they're no longer counted as unemployed now. But I think if you actually look at the number of people who are in the job age range, it's about the lowest we've ever had it. That's just one reason that I think Obama sucks pretty badly. But keep reading the email.
Okay, all right. I won't get into employment statistics specifically, are tough.
We'd have to do a whole show just on that. You
All
know
right.
what I mean?
So Edgar says, I know it's the god-awful inflation rate, not seen since the double-digit inflation rate under the Carter administration. That's the reason for the level of attacks on him. No, not either. The inflation rate is 0.2%, almost non-existent. Actually, I'd like to comment on this one.
Yeah.
The reason that we don't have horrible inflation in this current depression that we've been in has been because the government has kept interest rates at zero
Yeah.
and has been producing money like crazy.
Yeah.
There was a depression in around 1850 that we managed to get out of because all the gold that we found brought in trillions of dollars of 1850 money into the economy. The next big crash was we had the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
So we have these regular depressions. We're currently
Speaking of that, by the way, the only
in a
other
depression.
runner-up for most horrible president for me would be FDR, who basically turned the recession into the depression with their actions trying to help things. There was, the just a thumbnail sketch real quick.
Okay.
The stock market crashed. And I think it was the unemployment rate went very high and then stopped and started coming back down. But right when it was coming back down to 8 or 9 or something, that's when the government stuff kicked in. Boom, up to double digits for the rest of the decade. The whole decade.
Wow.
They didn't stop trying to help. There's been other recessions that were as bad as that nothing was happening. It corrected. We got out of them. That there was one during Reagan's administration. Actually, Bush had quite a bad recession coming out of the .com crash after Clinton, and came out of that one pretty well. This one's super sluggish recovery, based on actions by Obama with the the TARP. Well, no, I think TARP was started by Bush, right? It's the other thing was the jobs thingy, the stimulus package that he which stimulated absolutely nothing. And there's lots of other. What are his other reasons? I don't care about the inflation rate too much. I didn't even know about that.
All right. Well, he says, it's got to be the hundreds of body bags coming home weekly because we're dogged down in a war with no exit strategy in sight.
That's not it.
No, wait. We're certainly not at peace around the world, but neither are we in an unpopular war where protesters en masse take to the streets shouting, "Bring our troops home," like a Vietnam War.
No, that's not it.
I disagree with Edgar's point a little bit. We are actually in war.
Yeah.
We are actually at wartime. And what's happening is with the American public, we're just sort of ignoring it. We're just turning away. Hey, everybody, let's look at Trump's crazy hair and talk about, is that a wig? Let's talk about what Trump said about Fiorina. Maybe he really does hate women. Oh, he does hate women. Well, maybe he doesn't. Oh, of course he does. Ha, 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 ha. Meanwhile, we're in a war and we're being completely ineffective in it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want troops to die. I don't really want to get involved in any kind of war, but I'm not the president.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my primary job to protect the country. I think we need to handle this.
I don't think any president has ever liked war like George Bush is accused of all the time. Of just got to get in there and avenge his daddy and get that Saddam Hussein out of there. There were they're not just from basement bloggers information. Like, if you read actual newspapers from the time leading up, there are tons of good reasons to remove Saddam Hussein from power. George Tenet was the CIA director for Clinton. He was convinced that Saddam Hussein had WMD. Clinton was convinced of it. He said it. We even launched airstrikes, and he said himself, in the 90s, we launched an attack, but I don't know if we got him. We might have got some. We might not have got any. What's he talking about? Talking about goddamn WMD. We don't know because we're not there. The inspectors weren't really allowed to go where they wanted to go. They were complaining about that. Iraqi generals had said afterward that they moved them when we were running up on the run up to the war. They said that they moved WMD or some chemical weapons or whatever. Yeah, George Tenet told us. Everybody said, yeah, we think they're there. Now, they could have been moved before we got there. They did find some, not enough to bother, I guess, defending themselves about. But we were actually, I think, if you read Christopher Hitchens on this, he was pretty good at justifying why we kind of were almost, I think we were actually mandated to go and take him out.
Okay.
And a big deal. That's the worst thing George Bush did, actually, is remove an awful dictator from power. Okay. All right. I don't think George Bush was great.
Mission accomplished.
Well, this brings me to one thing. Oh, you want to finish his email?
Yeah. Okay. So he goes on to say, I know it's the kind of deals that make such as the Iran deal that make people think he's an embarrassment to have him as president. But wait, an unlikely group, several former Mossad leaders have stated that they are in favor of this agreement. Sort of impressive, you think, because of Israel's proximity to Iran, and the leaders of Iran have vowed to wipe Israel off the map.
I would say those Mossad guys are probably a minority of Mossad guys. I think the other Mossad guys probably think it's a retarded deal. I'd like to hear a general consensus of Mossad troops to see. I bet you there are 2 or 3. Guess what? There were people that thought World War II was a bad idea for us to go into. Okay, well, it was a soldier, huh? Well, I bet there was a soldier who thought it was a bad idea to go into fight Hitler.
I'd like the Mossad.
Well, guess what? He's in the minority, folks.
I'd like the Mossad agents to stay secretive.
Yes,
keep their cover.
That's
Don't
true.
come out to talk about this topic.
No.
I'm a little mixed on the deal because some people have really come out strongly in favor of it, saying this gives us some kind of a foothold, and others are totally bashing it. I haven't done enough reading on the deal.
I think it sounds like a completely retarded deal.
Okay.
It's almost like it's almost like a deal where if you say, Dr. Lecter, we're putting you in a high security prison, you cannot get out. Now there is about a minute of the day where the door's not locked, but we're hoping that you're not going to take advantage of that. This is kind of what they've done. Like, we could get into it further. I mean, there's a huge, they're going to be notified when we're going to be inspecting. And they're not allowed. Like, they could conceivably just build everything, all the components, and then on the day that the treaty runs out, put their nukes together the very next day. They could do all kinds of stuff. It's every single person I've heard that knows about these things, like inspectors and people that have actually negotiated other treaties with, they're like, this is a hilariously retarded deal. There's no way it's gonna. Obviously, it's handing them nuclear weapons. It really is.
All right, that's too bad.
One of the negotiators worked on a North Korean deal. She was the key negotiator. I forget her name. You can look it up. She worked on the North Korean deal. What happened there? North Korea has nukes. Bill Clinton looked the other way, allowed them to get nuclear weapons. Good job, Bill.
This would explain why Mossad agents like the deal. Because as soon as Iran shows that they have some sort of nuclear weapon, Israel just goes in and removes
that
the
could
country
be,
from
and
the
I
map.
think I would support that.
Right?
Actually,
Israel is our
Iran.
ally.
I hate Iran.
And has the best air force in the world. They will just fly in, blow it up, done.
I hope that's the case.
That's it.
That would be nice.
That's got to be why.
Maybe that is why.
So he continues to say, I know it's because Obama calls this country a great country, while at the same time he calls on us to do better.
He calls us a great country, but I think I said that before, but go ahead. Sorry.
What is so motherfucking wrong about that? It has a name, it's called tough love. You love someone or something and you encourage them to do better. Of course, this is like speaking Martian to conservatives, since individual survival of the fittest is their credo and government. Other than ensuring peace has no role, regardless of the need in society. So Mr. Obama doesn't hate this country any more than any other president does, because he thinks we can do better. Haven't you heard of motherfucking Tikkun Olam?
Every single president thinks we could do better. Moron. What's next? What's next? That's a whole
At
other
worst-
show too. I
at
mean,
worst,
Jesus Christ.
This two-term president has been ineffectual, sometimes foolish, sometimes naive, like a lot of other presidents. But don't call him so cavalierly a country hater and the worst president we've ever had until he, in fact, proves out to be that.
We may not have to wait long with Iraq, but
Why I heard a preview of the debates tonight,
yeah.
and there was at least one reference to a self-proclaimed socialist being in charge of the country right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's wrong with socialism, by the way? I thought it's a good thing, right? Democrats hate
great
when
for
you call them
Germany.
socialists.
It's great for Germany, except, when you run out of money to pay for all of the government programs,
Yeah.
and then you're in this weird position where we'd like to have 200,000 slaves a year, immigrants a year, come in and work for us so that we can sit back and enjoy our benefits because somebody's got to pay for them.
That will always work fantastically. Nothing will ever happen bad as a result of that, especially if they import young Muslim males who hate them and who aren't doing as well as the other people driving around in their BMWs, and they're sitting there looking at all these rich people driving around. They don't get angry or anything. France, they don't get angry.
There's one more thing.
Yeah.
And what's the big mystery of trash pickup being delayed a day when a holiday is on a Monday, Dave? Somehow everyone
Is that
on
Edgar
my
still?
Yeah. Somehow everyone on my street knows to put their trash out on Tuesday night instead
Everyone
of
on
Monday
my street put it out the day on the day they're supposed to because they're confused.
Actually,
They picked it up like 2 days late, by the way, I think. So I don't know what the hell they're scheduled.
I want to make a little funny trash comment. So I know that the trash comes the day later on a holiday weekend. So I didn't put my trash out after this last holiday, and my wife and kids, they rushed to put the trash out. And I came home. I said, "Well, why'd you put the trash out? The guy's coming tomorrow." And she said, "But everybody else had their trash out." I thought you missed
If
it.
everyone jumped off a cliff, why is it offset a day? How does this help? Is it just because they're catching up because they took the day off?
Yeah, they took a day off.
Okay, but what do they do for the people that they took a day off? How do they ever catch up? They're always a day behind, right?
I think they get to work over.
Do they have to work on Sunday? No, I don't think they do. No, garbage worker work on a Sunday? Forget that. They make a quadruple time.
Heck yeah. Hey, whatever.
They wouldn't do it.
So I want to thank you for your feedback.
Wait a minute, I didn't get to.
Edgar.
I might as well say why. Yeah, okay, yeah. Thanks, Edgar. That was cool. Actually, someone bothered to write a long email. None of the stuff really is my reasoning for thinking Obama is horrible. Can we define douchebag first? Stalin and Hitler were not douchebags. They might have also been douchebags, like to their friends and stuff, but those guys were monsters.
Yeah.
Who
I agree.
I would have shot any of them on the crapper. I would have shot him in the mouth with a pistol.
Okay.
If I could. Done it. I'm not going to shoot Obama in the mouth with a pistol.
He
is just a douchebag. Someone who's a bit of an obnoxious.
Is the guy that comes over to your house, takes the last swig of your favorite drink, but leaves just enough for you to not have a drink, but know that there's still some.
There is a drink left, but
So
he's got his slobber all over.
They don't have to throw the bottle in the trash, but there's not enough for you to actually enjoy the last drink. So they take that almost last swig and then put it back in the fridge. That's a douchebag.
That's sort of a douchebag, yeah.
That's
Douchebag.
douchey.
Liars are douchebags. Do you remember the phrase, if you like your health insurance, you can keep your health insurance? This was a humongous effing lie. It was, and he knew he was lying. He's just so enamored of his magical self that he just thought, well, I want this to be the case, so it will be the case because I'm bitching and I can control markets and stuff. So telling everybody they can keep their health plan when the Affordable Care Act, when he was doing his stump speeches on this, total freaking lie. He was even advised by his guy, oh, no, dude, there's going to be millions of people that can't because of your regulations you're putting in, they're not going to be able to have the same plans because they're going to go broke. So they're going to get rid of those plans. He kept saying it after that.
Right.
He's a dick. That's a big lie. Did your insurance go up or down, by the way, Sable?
Oh, man, I work for the state. My insurance is paid for.
Yeah, but did it go up or down? Paid for by who, by the way?
By my employer.
Right. Who pays?
Money comes from the state.
Oh, just the state.
Yeah,
okay.
the state.
So it comes out of the clouds and then goes into the hoppers.
So, yeah, the taxpayer.
Oh, okay.
Pays
Interesting.
To keep the college open.
Yeah. Mine went up.
To keep my salary.
I don't know anybody who went down, actually. I'm sure there are some.
I'm pretty sure that my particular Kaiser plan is about $1,540 a month, $1,540 a month, because I
Up
live
or
in
down from the previous.
and I believe that's about $200 up from 2 years ago.
That's not too bad. But you guys got that sweet state plan.
We got CalPERS. Yeah.
Ours was going to go up like $250 a month. It was basically going to go up a month by the amount that he said it would go down.
Mhm.
So he was about $500 off a month for us and most people, I think. Another guy I know lost his and it was paying double from some other crappy plan and with a higher deductible. A lot of people. I think I know one guy who found one a little lower, but I think it had a higher deductible too.
And if you don't get health insurance at the new high premium rates, you get dinged on your taxes for it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to sign an affidavit that says, I have health insurance.
And yeah. All right. Anyway, so he and also passing the Affordable Care Act did not get one Republican to sign on to this. This is like kind of new. Reagan would have tried to get people from the other side. They would have.
Right.
And they did actually when they do this stuff. Not one. Now, obviously, it's because of racism, which is another thing that pisses me off, is this guy who has squandered more moral capital than this guy as being the first black president. He could have done a lot with that moniker, the first black president. But he has allowed tacitly this, what I call criticism is the new racism. He hasn't said shit about this. He just lets it go. He just lets it happen. He might have paid a lip service once or twice, but he lets it go. He does. And that's what what was I saying about the oh Christ. Damn it. Let me look at my notes because I've got a bunch of them here. Yeah, but he's stepped in at all of these racial matters. He has completely poured gasoline on everything. I mean, the first one started, I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Remember the guy at the college campus that he lived there? He was breaking into his own house because he didn't have a key. He was like breaking the door. Right. Someone called, the cops came by, and this guy immediately starts popping off to them because he assumes they're there because he's black. He's like, dude, someone called, you're breaking in. Obama didn't know anything about it, but said the police acted stupidly. I'm like, fuck you, you idiot! You don't know anything. And then he had to apologize because he popped off before he knew anything. And he apologized,
and he stopped making those comments too.
Yeah, for a while. But has he came out and said that Michael Brown did not have his hands up in the air? Hands up, don't shoot. Has he commented? I'd like to know actually on that. I'm not sure, but I don't think he's ever said a damn thing about it. It's not true. You want to read the dozens of pages of all the eyewitnesses? Wasn't true. Didn't happen. Right. But it's a movement now that I haven't heard him. He should come out and say,
because Dave,
this is not a movement.
Matter.
Huh? Black lives matter.
Lives matter.
Oh, lives. Okay, there's lies.
Well, if any one of these Republican candidates become president, they're all planning to repeal Obamacare.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll be able to. Obamacare is stupid for the main reason that it forces you to buy something that the cost is guaranteed to go up every year, and it is the cost is going to go up dramatically while the quality will go down. Guarantee. You cannot have it moves towards a single payer thing, which is what everybody wants. All my Democrat friends said, what we want is it to get so effed up that everybody just says, screw it, let's go single payer, which would be the worst thing. Are we clicking over there? Is something happening? I hope we haven't stopped recording.
I did hear a click on the computer.
There's some clicking going on. You cannot have the reason, we talked about this before, Scandinavian countries, they're tiny. They've got a tiny government. They can keep track of this money so much better. You put 300 million people in a single payer, you are asking for the most cataclysmic, awful event ever. It's going to be like Godzilla meets Megalon, and it's monster. They're all going to be destroying everything. It's going to be so horrible. The quality of your health insurance will go into the toilet. The costs will go up. It'll be mass hysteria, dogs and cats living together. Trust me, it's an axiomatic. It's axiomatic that when you mess with markets like that, price goes up, quality goes down. Anyway,
well, that's a great note to end on for the night, Dave.
I'm not even done. For just next week we'll get into it. He was handed a stable Iraq. Say what you want. Shouldn't have gone in there. Whatever.
Now we have
Iraq
ISIS.
stable. He put Iraq into a blender full of shit and put it up on high speed. Moron. Should not have pulled out. Was advised against it. Pulls out anyway because he's bitching. He's a godlike presence. Why do I keep snorting like that? Adam Carolla does that.
Seems like you're about to fight.
A foolish point. Yeah.
Like you got a fist. And Dave, you're a big guy, so I wouldn't want to have to square up against you.
Yeah, baby. And so totally screwed up Iraq. Iran deal is retarded. They will get nukes. and it's because of him. He should pay for that. If they nuke somebody, I want him to be held accountable because he's doing it pretty much unilaterally. Him and that retarded John Kerry with the stupid bolts in his neck. Someone ought to like unscrew him. And I haven't even talked about where's the other thing? Blah, blah, blah.
Boy, I'm glad you didn't have anything prepared for this week.
Yeah, talking about Bush, George W. Bush, and Pelosi. When you talk about budgets and someone growing the debt, you need to talk about the House of Representatives and the president. They're the ones that control the spending. So hey, Bush and Pelosi.
I like George Bush. He sent me a check.
He did. He sent me a check too.
He sent me a check in the mail. That was like the greatest thing.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. But Bush and Pelosi grew the deficit. We don't care as much about as the debt. They grew the debt at an alarming. It was more than any other. All the presidents combined, and previously, and then Obama and Pelosi, instead of putting a stop going the other way, doubled down. He raised it even more than Bush combined with all the other presidents. It's like, you a-hole. This is what's really going to screw us in the future. You look at that's a hockey stick that's scary, not the global warming climate change hockey stick. You look at the debt from when we started, keeping records of this, and it goes, and as soon as it hits the late 60s, 70s, oh, I just hit my mic. Hockey stick up, and it's like we're never going to get out of it.
Yeah,
we cannot get out of it.
The debt is insane.
And Obama had a chance. Look, Bush and him were handed an okay economy during the Clinton Gingrich era, where the Republicans basically made him heel. Thank God. I think that works the best, is to get a Democratic president with a Republican Congress. Now he's only had this for like a year now or whatever. Too late, because he's already done the damage with Pelosi, and so. The economy was actually pretty good in the 90s because Gingrich made Clinton do welfare reform, which he hated and vetoed a couple times and finally signed on to, and now touts as my thing. I did welfare reform. You dick. Newt Gingrich basically shoved it up your ass. Sorry, we're gonna have to put a parental.
I'll put the explicit tag.
Put the explicit on there. I should have went off a lot earlier on that.
But hey, we're
way over.
I think we're way over, man.
This was supposed to be a super short one.
Yeah, let's wrap it up right now.
I still want to talk more about why Obama sucks.
Tell me
tomorrow
more,
in the next show, maybe. I don't know.
More about why Obama sucks next week.
All right.
I'd like to thank every one of you for subscribing to the show. You can find the Indispensable Thursday show on iTunes, on Stitcher, on TuneIn. You can find us on AHA Radio. Hopefully we'll be soon on a new domain.net. And everywhere that fine podcasts are served. Oh, we're trying to get on the No Agenda 24-hour news stream also.
Oh, nice.
We'll find out what that clicking sound is too. I hope it's not in your headphones. We want to hear your voice. Tell us what you think about Edgar's letter and Dave's responses. Call our hotline at 657-206-0777. That's 657-206-0777, and leave us a message. We appreciate your iTunes Store reviews. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Indispensable Thursday Show, or send us a note on Twitter at Sable and Dave. Arrivederci, Dave.
Vamonos?